All right, now we're going to do some power here. So, gantry's all wired up, waiting for us to finish some stuff on the frame. But before we get there, we're going to power or wire up the 120 volts from this little power input panel to the there we go, to the power supply right here, okay? So, if we look really close on this, you can see that it says ground, or there's a ground symbol there, okay? It says L right here, or sorry, it says N right here, and then it says L right here, okay? So we have ground, neutral, and live, okay? So I'm in the US, which means ground wire is a green cable, okay? Neutral wire is white, and live wire is black on 120 volt setups, okay? So we're going to keep to those standards. So what I'm going to do, I want to warm up my soldering iron, turn my soldering iron on. Okay. And I'm going to prep these cables for this. So what's going on here is there's a switch down here. Okay, I'm going to zoom back in. So there's a switch right here that when it's off, it disconnects this pin from this pin. It also disconnects this pin from this pin. When it's flipped on, it connects these two pins together, and down here it connects these two pins together. So what we're going to do here is ground is always connected. We never want ground disconnected from this thing. So ground is going to go straight along this on the bottom. I'll zoom back out. So ground's going to go along this down the bottom into the power supply, okay? Neutral is going to go all the way down here. I guess I should get my hand out of the way. Neutral is going to go all the way down to here. Okay, there we go. Neutral is going to go all the way down to here and then come out of this switch and come along this and connect to the power supply. Live is going to do the same thing. So live, the black wire is going to go from this one to this right here and then come out of here into the power supply. Okay? Now I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. Okay. So I'm going to take my clippers and I have to make a really short black one and a little bit longer white one. So here we go. Here's a white and black. They're clipped. Okay. Now I'm going to use, on this one, I'm going to use my biggest hole here. I'll show you a little trick here. So I'm going to slice it right. So that's sliced. I'm going to loosen it a little bit. And then I'm going to lever it out. So I'm going to push my finger on this thing and grab this. And then I'm going to twist this. Okay. So I'm going to twist this with it just barely loose. And now I've got a little bit of copper showing. Okay. With that, now I'm going to twist the head off. And I've got a perfectly twisted bunch of wire right here. No frays anywhere. I can just yank it off if I want. But I like the twisted method. It looks nicer. So again, clip it, loosen my grip on it, finger on the back side, grip it, and then twist it. And now I've got this little piece of copper showing. And then I'm going to twist this off here. And there we go. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing to the black. Okay. Same thing to the black. Okay. Twist it off. Twist it off. All right. And then all three of these wires need to be exposed also. So a little bit of cut it, pull a little bit off, cut it, pull it a little bit off. Okay. Twist it off, twist it off, twist it off. Cool. Okay. So now I got all my wires ready. My soldering iron should be warmed up by now. So with these short wires, they're going to get hot very fast. So be careful with these, okay? If you want to be extra careful, just do them let's see, do them like one side at a time here, okay? I guess I get these all the way out of the way. Okay, this guy can stick in there. Cool. Okay, so soldering iron's still nice and dirty. That's fine. I'm going to put a little solder on it and then whack it over here. Okay, put a little solder. Now I've got my tin, or my tip tinned. My tip is wet here. Okay, put a little bit more till I get that little bit of puddle. I'm going to put that puddle, or put my copper into the puddle here, and then feed it solder. Okay, until I see that the solder is fed all the way into the copper. So that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna pull some out. Whoa, that's a hot wire. That heat travels fast. I'm gonna zoom in and do the same thing. All right, do this one more time. Okay, so a little bit of solder on the tip. Okay, got my puddle. Gonna put the copper of the wire into the puddle and then feed solder into it, into the wire mostly. And there we go. That's a nice shiny wire there. Cool. Okay, do it again. Still got a puddle. Wire into the puddle. Feed solder into it. Find my puddle. Wire into the puddle. Feed solder into. So I usually push the solder into the wire and the puddle itself, like right between them. And then I start pushing it into the wire only. Because once it gets the wire hot, it can start melting the solder into it. Okay, so there's those two little jumpers are done. Now the longer wires. So I'm going to keep doing it here. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking good. And my puddle's getting kind of big on my soldering iron, so I'm going to whack it off in there. Okay. Put a little puddle back on here. There we go. Okay. So now I got all my wires ready. Now I need to prep the power plug area here. Now, there are crimps that will mount onto those. I don't trust them. I don't ever trust crimps, especially on 120 volt power. Like, if you can screw them on, yeah, I trust it. But if you just clip it on and they have the ability to like pull off, I never trust that. Okay, I know it happens, and if you'd like to do that, like feel free. But I'm personally gonna solder this when I do it. Okay, so well, I guess I should move the camera. So what I'm gonna do is just tin all these leads here. Okay, so all these need a little bit of solder melted onto them. Okay, so I've got this little. Okay, so I got the tip wet here. Put that wet part against this and start feeding solder into it. There we go. Same thing here, feeding solder. Same thing here, feeding solder. Okay. The same thing down here. Get it warm, feed solder. Get it warm, feed solder. Do that one more time here on the last one. There we go. Okay, so I got little bits of solder. Did I get that one? That one doesn't look shiny enough. There we go. Okay, now I got little bits of solder on all these, okay? I don't know if you see the smoke coming off. That smoke isn't the lead, that smoke is rosin. Rosin helps it stick to metal, helps the solder stick to metal. Kind of like a primer. So if you notice that smoke's getting thinner and thinner and eventually go out. Once the smoke stops, the solder's going to have a hard time sticking to anything. It's just going to stick to the tip, right? That's why it's always important to feed fresh solder so there's fresh rosin with it and it sticks to everything. Okay, so I'm going to start from back to front here. Okay, so I got this little jumper right here, actually all the way back. is my ground. I'll start with the ground cable first. So I got the ground cable here. Okay. And I'm just gonna melt it. There we go. I guess I'll do it on this side that all the solder's on. Melt it, hold it kind of flat. Okay. Give it a little bend because I'm working around a piece here. So you guys can watch this. Okay. So heat it up. Everything's melty. All right. Oh, nope. Still having troubles with it. Okay. Might have to angle this different. We'll see how that works. Okay. Still not grabbing. I don't think I have enough solder on the pin here. Add a little bit more. Okay. Try this one more time. Oh yeah, there we go. That's definitely on there. I can lift the whole machine up by this. Right? Cool. Okay. That's good and on there. Hopefully the rest have plenty of solder. Okay, next one is neutral. The white cable. That goes over here. Oh, sorry. Not the long one. The short one. Because it's jumping to the power switch. Okay. There we go. That's good and on there. Then this little black one here. Okay. Both metals are melted. Both metals have cooled down now. Now I'm going to bend this guy down into here. Do a little bit of an overbend so that way it pushes onto that pin right there. And then heat it up and let it cool down. Maybe. There's tip's kind of dry. Okay. Get a little solder on the tip. Helps with heat transfer. Let's try that. Okay. There we go. Perfect. That's on there solid. Okay. I'm going to bend the neutral one down. There we go. Overbend it and then bring it up so that it rests against this. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just grab the other side here. Maybe. Try to figure out where it's comfy hanging out. Okay, we'll call that good. And if it doesn't, I'll get some pliers. There you go. Okay, everything's melted. Everything's cooled down. Let's see if it's stuck. Oh yeah, that's on. Oh, yeah, that's on there. Cool. Okay, good. Now we do the long ones. So the long black one here. My tip's dry again. Okay. Beautiful. And then the white one. I think the tip's doing all right here. Okay. Both metals are melted. Nope. Wiggled it too soon. There we go. There we go. That's good and solid. Okay. So, pulling up on this. That's solid. All right. That's solid. This is solid. These are good. Okay. Now, the plan is. Oh, that one wasn't quite solid. Okay. So, again, I'll put some more solder onto this pin here. and then I'll bring the wire onto it. Give it a little bit to cool down because I got a lot of it very warm. There we go. Okay. Let's see where that's at. Okay, I think that's good now. Cool. All right. So I'm going to zoom back out with the camera. Okay, so the wires are going to come down here, right? And then go into the power supply right here. So again, I'll give it a little bit of extra. And where they go into the power supply, I'm going to chop them off. And then I'm going to pull the sleeve off, just like I did the other ones. Bend them open, twist them off. Okay. And now I'm going to crimp on some forks to these little guys. And I have a crimping tool. Okay. I'll put a mark on the one I'll be using here. Okay. So that's the slot I'll be using right there. Okay. So I do the bottom of the fork here into that. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe if I twist it around, it'll make a little more sense. Okay, so the bottom, like the part next to the fork, is where I'm putting that bump in my crimpers in. Okay. And then I just slide. Oh, guess I better refocus that. I'm going to slide my cable in. And I can verify that it's through because I see it on this side. And squeeze. And then both hands squeeze hard. Okay. Now you don't have to use crimps. You can just wrap it around those posts down there and call that good. And then, tighten them down with it wrapped around. I've seen people do that. I've seen a lot of 3D printers come like that. I like the forks. The forks are a little safer to me. Just as long as you make sure that these are solid and that it's not going to go anywhere and that they're in the right pins, you'll be fine. Okay. So now if I look at my power supply here, I can see up top it says it has a ground symbol and that says neutral and live. So I know. I guess I better loosen them up first. So just to make it easier on me, I'm going to label these on the outside. Okay. So verify again. Ground neutral live. Okay. So ground neutral live. There we go. Okay. I'm going to pull out a screwdriver here. Okay. All right. And so ground is a green one, right? Put the fork in there. Get that pretty firm on there. Okay, ground's there. Okay, neutral's our white cable. All right. And black's our live cable. And I don't think I loosened that up enough. There we go. Cool. And now we have our 120 volts wired up. So N is neutral, L is live, which goes down. So this little jumper here, right here, this little metal piece, brings it down to a fuse holder. So on the front side, there's a fuse holder on it. So that's what this little metal piece does. Okay. So if you try plugging it right now and turning it on, it might not actually turn on yet because there might not be a fuse installed. I'll go over that in another video here. But yeah, ground coming out the top, so it goes directly in the wire here. So I guess here's the plug as it goes in, right? So this middle one here is your ground cable that goes straight to the power supply. This one on the left, this is your neutral, okay? And it goes down into the switch. And then the one on the right is your live, which comes down, goes through a fuse, pops out over here, then jumpers down into the switch box here. Okay? I'll make sure on Thingiverse to have some high detail photos of this setup for you guys. But that's how you wire this up. Thanks for watching.